Hello all. These are our 1 week old, what are they, 1 week and
1 week and 3 days.
1 week and 3 days old chickens. What kinds are they?
So we have 3 different breeds. We have 3 Dominiques. Those are the black ones, and they'll be black and white. Then we have 3 Buckeyes. Those are the ones that look kind of yellowish. They'll be a dark brown when they age up. And then we have 3, what are they? Partridge Rock. Those are the brown. They have kind of stripes on them. Those seem to be a little bit smaller than the others.
Yeah, those seem to be kind of like the most docile.
Mm-hmm.
The other two kind of, they're the bold ones that want to check everything out right away and jump around and spar with each other. The Partridge Rocks want to just kind of stay out of everybody's way.
So when we got these, we first had them just in the cardboard box, and we had a little food, a little water dish, and the heat lamp, and that was big enough for them we had them for about, it's not the box you see here, we had a little bit larger one, and we had them there for about 5 to 6 days while we finished building this larger brooder box. And now we've transitioned them to this one. They seem to love all the extra space. We just actually put those roosts in today, and we just cleaned the bedding, which is why they're really interested in that, but they were roosting earlier.
Yeah, we put the roost poles in, and it took them a little bit to get used to it, and then they finally started jumping from the roost poles up to the top of the box and turned into like quite the game for them. It's pretty interesting watching them run and jump around and be chickens, you know. The roost box we made is all out of, what is that, 2x2, and then 1x2 on the tops and on the sides, just to give us something to staple the chicken wire to. How long was it? I think it's
5 feet by
5
2
feet
feet by 2 feet.
Yeah.
And for the bottom, we didn't give it a bottom. We just have this paper down right now, and then it's got the shavings inside. So when we cleaned it for the first time today because they've only been in there a couple days. We put the chickens back in the cardboard box. We take them out, then we just lift the whole brooder box up. We sweep it all out, and the paper's still fresh, so we just put the box back, put more shavings. We've got they've graduated to a larger feeder, and then a larger waterer, and there's that little container there is for grit. Grit is just like the little stone they need to, because they don't have teeth, so that'll break up their food. If we were only feeding them the crumbles, the starter chick crumbles, they wouldn't need the grit, but we began to feed them anything else that you feed them, they'll need the grit. So we started to give them some mealworms. Oh, there goes one. So the mealworms they're real excited about, and so now they are getting the grit. It's just free choice.
And we also give them some different lettuces, and we threw some dandelion greens in the bottom the other day. They seem to pick at it, but not really eat it as much as I thought they would. So we're hoping that they kind of get used to that, because when we put these guys outside in their coop, we're gonna have a chicken run attached to it. We're doing a 8x12 run, and then on top of the last 4 feet of the run, that's where their coop is gonna be. And we want to start a compost pile out there and put, kitchen scraps out there for them to pick through, scratch through, and and get a lot of their food from. I know some breweries in the area. We also want to get some brewers' grain and supplement their diet with that, and then let them free range in our yard. We have kind of a large yard, so we want to open up the run and let them free range in the backyard when the dogs aren't out there.
And that's part of the reason we chose these breeds. I think a lot of people have heard of the Dominiques, but then the other two aren't as well known. But all three of them we chose because they forage well. So we're really hoping they're gonna get a lot of their food from eating bugs. We have a big garden. There's a lot of bugs there that we'll be picking off and giving right to the chickens, but we'll also have a movable tractor. We'll move them around and when they're not free in the yard to forage themselves. And they're also cold hardy, so they'll be able to get through the winter well enough with just the coop as the shelter.
Yeah, we live in the Chicagoland area, so we definitely needed something that was cold weather hardy, and it seems like the breeds we chose are pretty good for the harsh Chicagoland winters. So.
And these are also breeds that are dual purpose. So we'll be using them first primarily for eggs. It'll take them about, I think it's like between about 5 months until they mature enough to start laying eggs. And then, ooh, there goes one. And then after they, lay for a few years, we'll just kind of keep our eye on them. And when they start to diminish, we can use them as meat birds. Or just keep them as pets if we get too attached to them. We'll have to see how that goes. This is our first time keeping chickens, so it's all new to us.
Yes, we are first-time farmers. We have just under an acre and a half, and we're turning it into our little homestead micro farm. And so far, every year we've been here for 3 years now, and every year it's a little bit bigger, a few more projects, and this year it was time for some livestock, some chickens. So
yeah, and these certainly aren't the only breeds. There's so many breeds out there. If you've been researching them, there's lots that are good at foraging, lots that are cold hardy. There's so many to choose from. It can be overwhelming, but we went through Myers Hatchery in Ohio, and we were really, really happy with that. They were all super healthy when they arrived. They had, with baby chicks, you have to check them for the pasty butts, and we did have a couple over the first week, I would say. But it got less every day, and I was putting a little bit of apple cider vinegar in their water. That's supposed to help with that. And as of, I think, yesterday, we don't have any, so they're all good now. It's our first time, again, like we said, so I don't know if the apple cider vinegar really helped or not, because we have nothing to compare it to, but they're all super healthy now.
And with the pasty butt, this kind of sounds a little gross, but you got to do what you got to do with babies. We tried dipping a cloth in water and soaking the poop and pulling it off a little bit without tugging on the babies too much. But I found it easier to just wet my fingers, wet the material, and kind of massage it between my fingertips and slide it off. It seemed to be quicker, less stress on the birds, and more efficient, I think. The wet cloth seemed to take a little bit, and you were sitting there picking at it and wiping and wiping and wiping. They didn't seem to like that too much. So that was just something I learned along the way.
Yeah, and everything we had read about it was saying that they can die from it, and we didn't really understand that until we kind of witnessed it firsthand. And sure enough, as soon as we would clean off, dislodge it, what was stuck, from them, they would go to the bathroom and you could tell it was like 5 times as much as usual. And you could just imagine if you're not able to eliminate waste from your body that you could just die. So it sounds kind of like a funny thing, but it is important for anyone who's raising chicks.
Yeah, I don't know how huge chicken farms do it unless they just prepare to lose a certain percentage. But yeah, we did it once a day, and we did it for like what, the first 5 days, 6 days. The 6th day, nobody had anything going on. They seemed to be good. Day 7, we started feeding them the mealworms as snacks and threw in the grit, and they seemed to really like that. So yeah. Well, cheers. Thanks for watching. These are our birds. We'll be updating you guys on the coop and, you know, posting more videos on the birds and us blacksmithing and gardening and doing all the other fun things we like to do. If you liked it, like, subscribe, maybe share with a friend. That would be awesome. We're a new channel just starting out, so any like or subscribe we get, we really appreciate. And cheers, you guys take care.